Alrighty, I would like to call to order the Town of Cicero Park Board meeting for April 2nd, 2026. Would the Vice President please take roll call?
Dan Strong.
Present.
Mary Devlin, present. Clayton Bell.
Present.
Sierra Fisher.
Present.
Amy Wolf, absent.
Alrighty, we do have a quorum. With that, I would like to move to the approval of the agenda. So if everybody has had time to review, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I so move.
I'll second.
Ready? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Agenda passes. Approval of our prior minutes. If everybody has had time to review the prior minutes, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I so move.
I'll second.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Alrighty. We will start with old business, gas tank update and pump replacement.
Okay, on the gas tank update, it is incomplete. The pumps are working. They're not officially open yet. Gasoline equipment was there today, doing some of the final annual testing that had to be done, the line tightness test, and they had some problems with water leakage in the pump dispensers themselves getting into the what I call dry wells that are in the dock underneath it, but they've put some new gasket material on today and finished their testing, so we just got to keep an eye on that the next few days. The final payment to them is a little over $15,000 that we still owe them, and I've got that bill, but I'm holding that bill until I know that these issues have been resolved and we're compliant with IDEM, and they still owe me a check for the 800 gallons of fuel that they made a mistake and disposed of, that they were supposed to hold and put back into our facility. So if they can complete those tasks, what I call minor tasks, and get us our reimbursement and things like that, I'll approve the final payment here within the next couple of weeks, I believe.
They're going to write a check for the 800 gallons, not just take it off the final.
Yes.
Alrighty, any questions?
That's all I have on that for now.
Very good. Moving on to grant updates.
So the last, I'll say 2 months since I was not here for the March meeting, we have been very diligent and been very busy trying to apply for various grants. As I told you, in February, we were applying for the grant for the downtown flower pots, benches, trash cans, and tables at the Pocket Park. We did that, and we're still waiting to hear from them on whether or not we get any of that, or we are successful in obtaining anything. We recently applied for an electric vehicle grant. The parks did. Traditionally, they, I think, thought of it as a grant for electric cars or trucks for the police or the fire department, but they chose not to apply for that. Just didn't feel like that was a fit for police and fire at this point. But I took an interest in it for a electric golf cart for the Parks Department, and one of them I particularly am interested in, if we can at least get that one, would be, it has doors and a windshield and windshield wiper and a heater. So I don't have anything right now except a pickup truck for the guys to go around the parks in the wintertime. I don't have anything that is usable for them to go do anything in the colder months. So that would be an awesome vehicle if we should happen to get lucky enough. But we did apply for that this week, and we should hear from that back on that in July as far as the award time. Another grant that we have in the works, we applied for a grant for a PA system, to put a PA system system within the parks. The Friends of the Park, as part of that, we know that they wanted some matching money, or wanted to know that we had partial funding for it. And so the Friends of the Park, they committed up to $5,000, and tentatively we believe that the Lights Over Morris group would commit up to $3,000 to help with getting the PA system involved. So more to come on that here in the future. We should hear back on that one in May sometime. The LWCF grant, we have tentatively, we have a meeting on Monday, and that will be one of our topics of discussion, is the big LWCF grant that we want to apply for to fix the cove area there at Red Bridge Park and get that seawall in and get that established. So that is a very big grant. It will be very lengthy and time consuming and very involved, but we're going to focus on that, and that's going to be our push for the next few months, is to get that thing applied for. And we have to have it done and apply for it by the end of July, I believe. So Monday's a big meeting to officially get that ball started in the right direction. And I think that's all I have in the way of grants right now.
The PA system, would that just be at the shelter, or is that to try to get it throughout?
We would actually mount all of the speakers on my main building, and hoping to project the sound north, south, east, and west accordingly. But it is an expandable system that would allow us, if we need to add more speakers at the north end or even over to the library property, we can expand upon that in the future. But the initial PA system would be installed on my main office building, and everything would be housed there, but we can expand out with additional speakers in the future.
Any other questions or comments on grant updates? All right, seeing none, we will move on to the drainage project.
The drainage project at Red Bridge Park is done, complete. The area has been seeded, and we're just waiting on the grass to grow. But all indications are that it's doing exactly what we want it to do, and getting the water away from the west side of the building.
Comments or concerns? All righty, moving on to the library property.
The library property, we really don't have much of an update there, except that there are some legal issues to do with title work and things that go back to when the library was formed. It was done with a board. A board was appointed back when it was formed, and then essentially that board has not done anything over the last 20 plus years. And so we have to figure out how to, the attorneys have to figure out how to get us to where we can dissolve that library board, which essentially doesn't exist to this day, and how the current board can be given the authority to sell that property. So I feel like it's going to happen, and I feel like we'll get through it, but the attorneys have got to do some paperwork, take it in front of a judge and get a signature and get the judge's approval, and then they can move forward.
Very good. Comments, concerns? All right, moving on to the NRG property.
My staff have been very aggressively working on that property to do lots of cleanup, weed eating, trash removal. The county highway came in a few weeks back and cut lots and lots of trees down on the property in the brush scrub areas along the railroad property, and I believe the property looks 110% better already, but lots more improvements to come, and we'll continue to work on that throughout the summer.
I'd have to say, if you haven't had an opportunity just to drive by and look from Britton Street at the property, you can see a huge difference already in what's been done there, and it's certainly starting to look nice. And if you get back to the ball fields, you'll really start noticing the huge difference back there. Of course, right now you have to bear with some of the construction materials and things back there, but once those are out of there, I think you'll see a huge difference in that area. But it's definitely a huge improvement on that property already. So done a nice job with that.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Alrighty, we will move on to new business, park impact study.
Under the park impact study, in 2021 and early in 2022, the Parks Department in the town of Cicero updated our park impact study, which is basically it's a ordinance that's created, and it has to be updated every 5 years, that places a park impact fee on anybody that builds a home in Cicero. We are at the time where we need to update that impact study so that we can continue those fees for the next 5 years. I'm currently working with a company that did it for us the last 5 years ago, and we're just starting into that process, but we'll be working that over the next several months. Currently, I have a number that is $40,000 to update that fee, but we're working and optimistic that we'll be able to get it done for considerably less, and I'll report back on that next month. But we are in that process, and we're going to keep it moving and get that done. Dan, I don't know if you have any additional that maybe help explain that better or to expand upon that.
No, I think the only thing I would expand upon that is definitely we are far below our neighboring communities in our park impact fees, but the importance of doing the park impact fees from the standpoint is that for the new amenities that benefit the new development in the community is why park impact fees are important. So for every new home that's built and the town, the Parks Department receives a park impact fee, and I think that's $1,205 a day, if I remember correctly. But, as Superintendent Hunter said, that was 5 years ago, and as all of you know, that with inflation, costs keep going up, and as the park wants to add those amenities, it's going to cost more in the future. So it's appropriate time to update those, and we have the great opportunity to do that while we don't have any development before the next one gets here. So it takes once those are approved, I believe it's 6 months after that those take effect, if I remember correctly. So, but no, it's been a good benefit for the Parks Department, and I would hate to see those go away and not have that opportunity to increase them a little bit if we can. So.
Very good. Any other comments, concerns? Alrighty, moving on to miscellaneous, the farmer's market.
The farmer's market is going to kick off here in May, and right now today we have several more vendors online than we had last year, and are very optimistic that we will have a much better year this year going into it. We're also working to have very specific weekends for volunteer day or nonprofit day, where all the churches and all the nonprofit organizations set up and do things. And we're going to have Touch a Truck one day, and they're going to have a DJ on a couple of different days to do things. They've got the Kiwanis are going to be there the first couple of weeks to do their flowers and that kind of thing. And then I don't have the dates in front of me, but we're doing a special day where they have a kids flea market day, where the kids themselves run booths and sell their items. And so we're trying to do something every couple of weeks or every month to bring more people to the farmer's market, from everything from the dance studio with the kids maybe doing a demonstration, or the local karate club to do a demonstration. And so pretty optimistic at this point, and we're just going to keep plugging away and see what we can do to keep improving.
Aaron was working on, did we figure out the alcohol situation for that?
We have not, but
Okay.
he assures me he will get back on those issues and try to get those addressed, but he's been extremely busy with some other topics.
Understood. Moving on to bourbon tasting, April 24th.
That's the Friends of the Park next big event. It'll be held at Red Bridge Park, and it was a huge success last year. We anticipate a bigger crowd this year. The Friends of the Park believe it to be a very big fundraising event for us. Last year they raised over $5,000 in profit, and this year they're hoping to raise over $8,000 in profit. And the proceeds or profits from that event will go toward the purchase of the flagpole that we want to do out at Red Bridge. And that reminds me, we also applied for a grant for that flagpole to help fund that, and I forgot to mention that in my previous conversation. So there'll be lots of food and hopefully a good time and hopefully a big crowd, and they'll make lots of money.
That's what we like.
For the flagpole, do you think it'll be up before the 4th of July this year, if it gets like approved and all that?
I would love it, but I'm not real optimistic.
Okay.
If the funding were awarded within the next month or so, absolutely. But I think their timeline to award the funding is sometime in June.
Okay.
And if that happens, I don't think I can do that. But I still have the two different individuals that, plus the American Legion, that have expressed an interest in donating to the cause also. They're just kind of waiting to see what's needed and what's open things are left. I got a price together for the lighting and everything additional. So if we were to lose or not get anything out of the grant we've applied for, I'm still very confident we'll get a flagpole up there. It just may be late summer or early fall, but I'd love to have it up before July 4th. I just don't know if I can get it all put together that fast.
You still looking at the 60 or 75 footer?
I've got a price on a 50 and a 60, and I did lighting appropriate for a 50 and a 60. All that could be subject to change. If everybody donates well, we might go for the 75 or 70 or something, but I stopped with pricing for the 50 and the 60. The lighting for anything above that, if you try to go to the 70, gets a lot more expensive. The pole gets a lot more expensive, so I just stopped with the two prices. But if we get a big award for the flagpole from the grant and the other people come in with big money, then we may go to the 70-foot mark. But for purposes of applying for the grant, I put two sets of numbers together.
Very good. Does anybody have anything they would like to add under miscellaneous tonight? Seeing none, our next meeting will be May 7th, 2026, 5 o'clock here at Town Hall. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I'll second.
What's that? Oh. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? We are adjourned.